All right, now, when you say you played for Bobby Bowden,
No, Terry.
Terry Bowden, when you
Yes.
say you played for Terry Bowden, does that mean you played the bench, or does that mean you actually got there out there on the field?
So when Terry Bowden was the coach, I was recruited under his coaching staff. So I was a freshman then. So you know how they do freshmen on college
Yes, I
football team.
do.
So technically, not at that time.
That's all right. Now, I'm going to back up, but I do want to know a little bit about your Sanford experience.
Yeah,
You know, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
I'm actually 51.
You're 51 years
Yes,
old. So, 51, you have a different perspective
yes,
going to a Sanford University than a 20 something year old would
yes.
have. So, tell me about your Sanford experience.
So I actually, I mean, of course, I love Sanford. It was It was not on my radar. I was actually working at a grocery store, and the owners of the grocery store were Sanford alums.
Okay.
Yeah, and while working there, they said, they told me about Sanford, and I was like, oh, okay. So got in touch with the university, got in touch with the football staff, and I only played 1 year in high school
Uh-huh.
of high school football at Huffman High School, but so I had great game film, but not highly recruited in football because I actually was playing basketball for Huffman, and gave them game film, and they took it, and I was out there. So
Yeah.
so I had a really good experience out at Sanford. I'm very, very proud of my degree that I earned. A lot of people go to college, you know.
Yeah.
I actually said I got the paperwork to prove that I was there. So
Now, what was your major?
I majored in business
Okay.
administration
Okay.
with a
Okay.
concentration in management. So I have a minor in sociology, so
Okay.
that is helpful when dealing with groups and people. So, but just overall good experience. Was glad to get out of there
Yeah.
with my degree, but I felt like I was really prepared to go into the business world. Actually, was got hired out of before I graduated
Okay.
out of Sanford to manage a company up in Gaston.
Okay.
They had stores here in Birmingham, so I managed them in Birmingham for them for a while, and then I started my own business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what was that?
So my family, we were had an opportunity to get into the laundry and dry cleaning business, and so that opportunity came up, and jumped out there in it, and I've been pretty much self-employed from that moment on. I did took some time and worked with an insurance company. I am a licensed insurance agent, and
Okay.
yeah, and so I did that for several years. Supported my family with that. Um, then we ventured off and got into real estate. So we manage a property management company where we've been investing in properties and for resale and for rent. So
All right. Now, time out. Hold
yes,
on. Got to ask this question.
okay.
There was a big, like everybody was getting into house flipping
hmm
and properties and this kind of stuff.
hmm
Is that still a good business, or has it dried up a little bit, or what's going on with that?
So it's a very highly competitive business,
Uh huh.
because a lot of people are in it. There's a lot of resources out there for people that may not have money to actually do it. Uh, Meaning lenders will loan and, they pay for the purchase and the rehab. You just
Yeah.
got to have the qualifications, and it gets a little technical there. They prefer that you have experience, but if you get in it and get going, it's a,
Yeah.
it's a highly
Still a
competitive.
hotbed, huh?
Yeah, and I think it's great for certain areas of our city, areas where our houses are not so great.
Mm-hmm.
It gives investors an opportunity to come in and improve those houses, and once they improve them, it raises the value of the community, which in turns encourages other investors to come in and do the same.
Yeah.
So it has its benefits. Some areas is not so good for, but other areas, as long as we're doing it and reselling those properties, I think it does the community, the city as a whole. Because if I can take a dilapidated house and put X amount of dollars into it and put it back out into the community where a family can, have a very nice and comfortable place to stay. And then there are areas in our city that have very unique houses with unique architecture. Just bringing those back and putting them back on the market is a plus.
Yeah. Now, when you, how long have you been doing it again?
So I've been in property investment for about 20, almost 20 plus years.
Oh wow.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
That's yeah. You have developed that sweet spot, if you will.
Yeah, I can tell you, it always is a personal pleasure to take something that is nothing and create a space that people actually are going to live in, raise their children in, create memories, and I'm at the front part of that, and that's whenever we complete a project, that is always my, of course we want to sell it, but just the fact of knowing that, a family's gonna live here, and so that's where we go into it in mind, making sure we do the very best and not cut corners or, just as if I were gonna live there, if my mother was gonna live there, my siblings, my best friend.
Yeah.
So
You down for some this or that?
I guess so. Just depends.
All right. Green Acres or Wing Out?
I'm gonna say Green Acres.
Green Acres. All right. Railroad Park or Botanical Gardens?
Railroad Park.
All right. Hattie B's or Eugene's Hot Chicken?
That's a close one. I'm gonna say Hattie B's.
All right. Saul's or Jim and Nick's?
Well, I eat Jimmy Nicks all the time, so
Yo Mama's or Granny's Fish and Grits?
your mama's.
All right. Al's or Purple Onion?
Don't know Al's, but I'm gonna go with Purple Onion because I do know them.
Okay. Barber's Motorsport Museum or the Museum of Art?
I probably should say the Museum of Art, but I'm gonna say Barbara Motorsport.
Birmingham Zoo or McWane Science Center?
Wow, that's a tough one. Birmingham Zoo.
Okay. Sloss Furnace or Vulcan Park?
Vulcan.
Alabama Theater or Lyric Theater?
Can I say Carver?
You can say Carver. I can take that. Alabama State or Alabama A&M?
So that's not fair because I'm a Stanford grad. So I'm gonna say neither.
Alabama or Auburn?
Of course, Auburn.
Boo! If you had the opportunity to go back in time, pick an age, tell me what advice you would give your younger self. Tell me that what age you pick,
Okay.
and what advice you would give your younger self.
Wow, that's a Good question. Hmm. Uh, that is a good question. Age. I would probably say 25. When I first got married. Um, I would say the advice I would give is make sure you tell myself to make sure you treasure the time with your spouse and family, because you think you're going to have them forever, and forever could be 5, 10 years. So um, make sure to focus on family and not so much on trying to achieve things, ambitions.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's some good stuff. Now, if you could choose a superpower,
hmm
what superpower would you choose?
The superpower would be to tell to determine who's your friend and who's not.
That's a good one.
hmm
That's a really good one, as a matter of fact. Um, so let's dive right into it.
Okay.
You have, as a matter of fact, I'm gonna let you tell the story.
Okay.
All right. I would love to know what you learned as far as your being on the school board.
hmm
What did you learn your first go round? What was that learning curve like, right? And then you got your feet wet, you know what you're doing.
hmm
And so what are your plans moving forward, right? So, one of those, what have you done and what are you looking forward to doing next, right?
Okay. So one of the things that I learned coming into the school board is that the decision that your vote is really powerful, because it changes situations and people's lives. I also learned that, and I would warn or caution anybody just stepping into politics. A lot of times you have the expectation, and it usually happens on the school board, probably I've seen more often than any other political position. You think you have a lot of thoughts and changes that you or ideas that you may want to see, and the reality, once you get there, you can't affect those changes, you can't put them in place. You might have to, and you'll just have to find a way to, if you're pushing for those things to get them, you have to find a way to get them done, and they just don't change overnight. Um, so that's one of the things that I have learned, and that my decisions really immediately affect things right then and there. So you have to put some thought into it, and understanding that even things that you fight for that may not happen for you, you have to have what we call, when I play defensive back, is that you have to have a short memory. Because if you get hung up on something that you pushed for didn't pass, or something passed that you didn't want, if you get hung up on that, it's going to hamper your work throughout the school board. So, and I'm sure there's probably any other political position. So you got to be able to move on to the next thing, and be impactful there.
I can really appreciate that comment. And I would love for you to kind of dive deeper.
hmm
We go into, be it a board,
hmm
um, be it a nonprofit board or
hmm
public board or whatever, and we assume a lot of things
We do.
that, why aren't they doing this? Why
hmm
aren't they doing that?
hmm
And then when you get on board, you see it's a whole different ball game.
It is.
Give me an example of that. Give me an example of something you came on wanting to do and you realized turning that ship was a lot harder than you expected.
Well, I'll start with this one. When one of the situations that actually ushered me in to the school board was the fact that our previous before me board was not operating as a board. And so, and I can understand why, because a lot of times when you're a board member and you're representing a district, you come in with those ideas that you can go in and you can tell a principal what to do because you're the board member, or you can direct traffic in a school because you're the board member. And that was a little bit of what was happening pre me,
Mm-hmm.
and which helped to, for the door to open up for me to come through. And 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 so when you get to the board, you find out that that is not what you should be doing. And it is better to work within a system to affect the change than to assume that you can go in and just change things yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So that gets, that would get a board and yourself in a whole lot of trouble, and it creates a lot of confusion. And unfortunately, the community thinks that that's your role.
Mm-hmm.
And explaining that to them that that's not your role. I know our third grade teacher, I know we need a third grade teacher in a classroom, but that's not what I would even know about at my
Right.
level unless someone told me, because that's not my role. It's very important, and once found out about it, it would be something that you would inquire about. But as for me knowing that a third grade teacher is missing out of a classroom, that is not the role of a school board member, and we should be thinking a lot higher, at a higher level, as to what affects education throughout the school system, and putting in place things to make sure we will have a third grade teacher, like a salary, supports, and those sort of things. So I think brand new people, coming into it, that might be a little bit challenged to navigate that for a while. So,
Yeah. That's an excellent example. Thank you.
mhm,
I think we've covered who you are. I
mhm,
think we've covered, a little bit of the fact that you're on the board, running
yes,
for reelection.
yes,
I think the question now becomes, um, well, first let's dot the I and cross the T in
mhm,
that. Tell us what you're proud of,
mhm,
some of the specific
yeah.
things you've accomplished that you're proud of, and then let's close with what you look to do in this next, um, if once elected
Yeah,
again.
absolutely, absolutely. So some of the things that I'm certainly proud of, coming onto the school board, is the fact that our school educationally is going in the right direction. Um, I served on the school board when I first started in 2013. The school board, we had a letter grade of uh, barely a D. And so we had challenges during that time, financial challenges. We had possible we had accreditation issues. Now it feels good to be in a space where our education is moving in a positive direction. We have the longest running superintendent in the last, I want to say, 10, 12 years. And usually a superintendent's lifetime for a school district is probably like 3 to 5 years. And Dr. Sullivan has been our superintendent, I want to say, almost 8 years now. And he came in at a time when the country was in a pandemic. So I always applaud that previous school board as well as Dr. Sullivan for the work that they've done. So we, through that leadership and the support by our Board of Education, We've been able to right the ship. We're financially stable, which I'm very proud of. I like to say when I first came onto the school board in 2013, we had two nickels rubbing it together. Now we actually have monies in reserve. We enjoy probably about a 7-month reserve fund balance. For most people, what that means is that we have about 7 months of what it would cost us to operate the business, well, the school system. So if it costs $20 million to pay everybody and staff and teachers, then we have about 7 months of that in reserves. And so I'm very proud of that because the state only requires us to have 1 month's reserve fund balance. And we've been able, I've been the chair of our finance committee the entire time I've served during this term. And we've been able to take excess monies that we have and plan for the future to make sure that if we ever had a financial downturn, we would have some footing. We're seeing some changes happening in our federal government, so we have to be prepared for that. And so we have I believe that we are prepared to to maintain for a period of time with not having to people to lose their jobs or programs to be cut. And so I'm proud of the financial footing that we're on. We spent over $82 million in upgrades or renovations to our schools so that our children are in clean, safe, um, just spaces that are great for learning. I'm proud of the fact that our students are 1-to-1. We have a device for every student. Just we're proud of the. I'm most proud of when I came onto the school board. One of the issues with our school district was that we have for the last 20 years we had lost student population. So when you lose student population, you lose actual dollars, and roughly Birmingham gets about $8,000 per student. So you take that and multiply that times 100 students, and that's an opportunity that we miss. So had an opportunity to sit down with Dr. Sullivan to kind of look at this and I'm a businessman, so I'm always looking to figure out how I can get a customer. So I look, in part to our students as how we can get customers. And so we looked at an opportunity where we can expand our school through pre-K. Pre-K in the state of Alabama, we have a first class pre-K program that's mostly funded by the state and the federal government. We do put in some monies um, to fund classrooms, but the bulk of the money comes from them. Those classes are housed inside of our schools, but we don't get a dollar for them as far as our per student ADM. And so what we looked at was what if we can ensure that all of those students matriculate into kindergartens? Now they take up the space, but they don't bring any dollars into it. And the beautiful thing about pre-K is that pre-K can come from not outside of the city. Pre-K students can come from outside of the city and be a part of our pre-K program. The idea is to hope that we can get them to stay inside of our city, inside of our school system. So we had an opportunity on this side of town, District 1. We have several surplus properties that we have been selling off. And we had an opportunity to convert or renovate the old North Roebuck School that probably been vacant for 30 plus years. And so it did two things for us. Well, actually, it did three things for us. The first thing it did, it took a surplus dilapidated property out of a blight situation. So we were able to put, initially, we put $7 million into the building. We were able to access some monies through the COVID relief. We were able to pull some money in from the state. And the other thing is that the state going to fund our pre-K program. So we renovated that building. It's a gorgeous building on the side. If you're on the east side, ride down what I know to be Taryn Huffman Road. It sits it sits on the campus of Martha Gaskins, and so it is slated to open on the 18th to be completed of July, and I think we'll have a ribbon cutting somewhere around the 29th of this month, and it will be open for our scholars. And what's unique about it is that we're going to be able to put actual a first grade class, five first grade classes, and five kindergarten classes. So those students in that building will be on a system called looping, and their teacher will be with them in kindergarten all the way through first grade. So we're hoping that that experience that students and parents will have will encourage to entice parents to stay in Birmingham City, which ultimately increase our student population or helps to increase our student population, as well as educating our students. So we're excited about that. And finally, it eliminates a property that we had in the community.
Mm-hmm. Man, I don't know that I have ever gotten such a complete, like, that was good. That was really, really good.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you, sir. Um, I don't have any other questions for you, man.
You did ask me what we want to do. Why am I doing this again?
Yeah.
So I'm very, very passionate about our Birmingham school system. One of the things that I say that I am not only a supporter, but I'm a protector of our school system. We are certainly competition has come in with um, other forms of, I would say they call it public education, but I don't know how public it is. But it's charter schools, and it's a real challenge. Just because of the way the state has created the law. If you were to ask me, they have slightly a disadvantage. They have an advantage over traditional public schools. So I am a proponent of public schools, true public schools. I'm not against choice, but I think that we should protect what we have as much as we possibly can. So that's why in 2013, when the charter school law was enacted, we had an opportunity to be an authorizer, which gave us the opportunity to have a say in what charter schools could come in. And I'm so glad we took that opportunity because other municipalities did not. And you could have a school that come into your district that's not even financially stable, which means that after maybe a year or so, they're not in business anymore, and you don't know what the status of your children are. And all those children come back to their local public schools. In this case, it would be Birmingham. And we would be saddled with the responsibility of fixing what was not completed. And so we want Birmingham City Schools to be parents' first choice, and we're really looking at what can we do to make that happen. So I want to continue that work. I want to continue the work of the educational trajectory we're going. When I came into Birmingham City Schools a few years ago, we had a number of schools that were on the had Fs as grades. Can't tell you what that data is going to look like. I can't officially tell you what that data is going to look like, but I know what it is. And so as soon as the state releases it, I think the citizens of Birmingham are going to be proud. We're moving our letter grade from a D to a C, and we are really, really close. I think by the next year, this next school year, we will be at a B because we have the leadership, and we have a board that's actually, for the most part, supporting Dr. Sullivan and all the many, hardworking staff that we have, the teachers, and so just continuing to provide that support for them, and taking Birmingham City schools to the next level so that we can be that school of choice for not only our citizens, but people that may be entering, coming to our state, or moving into our city. So I'm proud of those things. I want to see kids graduate with gazillions of opportunities and prepared for life. So um, just want to run it back.